had his entourage were magicians, and magic was how it was like the trade of the time, and this is how they were controlling people. And basically, to be a magician, you had a high position, just like at the time of Firaun, right? So this boy, basically, his parents wanted for him to have a good future, so they sent him to learn magic with this magician. But then on the way, he used to pass by a monk. And then, he started learning a little bit from the monk and going to the magician. Then he would be hit because he's late, etc. So at the end, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guided his heart. And then there was an animal that is stopping the road for the people. And basically, he wanted to try which two teachings are the truth. So he says, I ask the Lord of the rahib, of the monk, that this animal come out from the road, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala calls that animal to leave. So when he had his dua answered, he knew that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is there. He answers dua. This is part of the proof that Allah exists, is the fact that he answers our dua. So long story short, basically there was a minister in the castle that was blind, and he went to this boy and he made dua to Allah, and he started being able to see, etc. And then the king told him, who cured you? He said, Allah. So he asked him, do you have a Lord beside me? So he tortured him, he killed him. So they got the monk, they killed him. The thing though, important point, is that in this ummah we have a rukhsa that the other ummah did not have. In this ummah we have a leeway in the religion that the other religion did not have. In this leeway is in Surah An-Nahl. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, من كفر بالله بعد إيمانه إلا من أكره وقلبه مطمئن بإيمان. I didn't get it wrong, right? Okay. من كفر بالله من بعد إيمانه إلا من أكره. So in this religion, as happened to Ammar ibn Yasir radiallahu anhu, if you are coerced to say something evil about the religion under the threat of killing or something, so you are able to say it with your mouth as long as your heart does not believe what you are saying. Like Ammar bin Yasir radiallahu anhu, they killed his mother, the first martyr in Islam. They killed his father, and they told him, insult Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or we're going to kill you. So he insulted the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, not willingly. He did it under duress. So he went to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and he told him this is what happened. Again, this is Meccan period. Madani period, they would have waged war. They would have finished them off. Okay, so in Meccan period they were not allowed to fight back. So the Prophet ﷺ said, "In adu fa'ud." If again they do the same thing to you, torture you, tell you to insult me, then you can go ahead and insult me. Before that, he asked him, "Kayfa tajidu qalbak?" How do you find your heart? In other words, when he insulted me, did that impact your faith? Ammar ibn Yasir said no. So he said, if they come back to torture you, again say it. You only say it with your mouth. You don't say it with your heart. This rukhsa was not with the other nations. The other nations, if you said it, it happened. That's why there would be sawing a person in half while he is alive, telling him to revert from the true religion, and he wouldn't revert. Why? Because if he said that, even if he just said that because he's under duress, he would actually exit the religion. So this is a very important point that Sheikh Abdul Razak al-Badr clarified, because this is always a doubt in my heart. Like, why wouldn't they say that? Say, yes, we disbelieve, but then only with their mouth. And that's because it's only this ummah that has this rukhsa. Okay, so they were not able to say we disbelieve, so they stood their ground. They were killed, and then the king ordered his soldiers to take the boy to a mountain, throw him so that they can kill him. The soldiers died. The boy remained alive. Here he came back to the king. I'm alive. Oh, again. So he sent him to the sea with soldiers. The soldiers drowned in the sea. The boy came back. So the boy told this king, who was a Jew king, by the way, if you want to kill me, then you have to gather the people and you have to shoot me with an arrow. And before you shoot, you say, Bismillah Rabbil Ghulam, in the name of Allah, the Lord of the boy. And he did that, and the boy was martyred. And when the people of the town saw that, they believed in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that boy basically was preaching early Christianity. Okay, early Christianity. And when they became believers, the leader, the king, did not like that. So he told them so he dug trenches, Ukhdud, this is in Surah Al-Buruj, okay? He dug trenches, and then he put a huge fire, and anyone he comes to him, he says, leave that religion, come back to my religion, or we're going to kill you. So they don't come back to religion, they throw him. And they did that with all the people also a mother had some children with her. They killed all her children in front of her, and then she had a suckling baby. They wanted to throw him, and then because of her mercy, she hesitated. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave this baby a miracle. This is one of 3 babies that spoke in the cradle. One of 3 babies. This is one of them. The other one is Isa alayhi salam. The third one is at the time of Barsis the Rahib. A Jew fornicator accused him that he is the father of her illegitimate baby, while she actually had that with a shepherd. So the Jews took him, they beat him up, and they tried to kill him, but then the baby spoke, said, no, that my father is the shepherd, not this Rahib. So these are 3 kids, 3 babies that spoke in the cradle. Okay?
What about the Nabila Yusuf?
Nabiullah Yusuf?
Yeah.
No, he did not speak in the cradle.
No, not him. When they accused the son was just speak, they said if there is qamis is just cutting.
This is not a baby.
That's the baby?
No. This is a mature person from the family of Zuleikha, of the wife of the Aziz.
That was not baby?
No, it's not a baby. No, it's not a baby. But it's in Surah Yusuf. Shahida shahidun min ahliha. Shahida shahidun min ahliha. No, it's not a baby. It's a mature person. Yes, ma'am. But let me just finish quickly. I'm almost done. I know I divulge, but I try to spread the benefits so that so it's not boring. Okay, so that's not boring. So basically, except this woman, the baby spoke and told her, "Be steadfast. You are on the truth." So she did not revert from that religion, and she was thrown into the fire. And because the people that were killed were Christians, this is why the Najashi of Ethiopia, of Abyssinia rather, it's not only Ethiopia of today, it actually also has some portions of Eritrea, etc. But Abyssinia anyway. The leader of Abyssinia was a Christian king. So when he heard this is when he sent his generals to attack this king. And one of his generals is Abraha. Who is Abraha? That would later try to destroy Kaaba. So look, subhanAllah, how the history is tied to one another. So this Abyssinian Najashi is a title for the king of Abyssinia, sent his generals. So they fought against this king that killed these people, and he ran away from them, and he drowned in the sea. So therefore, he's no longer king, and he went to hellfire, and he killed people like that, so he lost dunya and hereafter. Subhanallah. And this is really a lesson for all kings, that if you want to be successful in this world and in the hereafter, follow Allah's law. So these 2 generals, after that, they fought. And one of them is Abraha al-Ashram. They fought, and then Abraha was going to be defeated. He told his slave that if you see me being defeated, come and kill the other general from behind. So he did that, and Abraha, his name is Ashram because the other general hit him in the nose and cut a portion of his nose. This is the meaning of Ashram. Okay? So when the leader of Abyssinia heard the betrayal of Abraha, he swore that he would step on the dirt of Yemen and shave the hair of Abraha. So when Abraha heard that, he actually shaved his hair and took some dirt from Yemen. He sent to Najashi and tell him, here in Barra Qasamak, here you swore to do this, here is the dirt of Yemen, here is my hair, forgive me. So he forgave him, and he remained the ruler of Yemen. And then he wanted to please Najashi, so he built for him a very great kanisa, a great, help me out with English, sometimes it runs away. Yeah, a great church. Okay, he said, I'm going to let the Arabs all come to this church, and I'm going to honor, this is an honor of Najashi. But then one of the Arabs, when he heard that, he's like, oh, you want to take us from the Kaaba? He went there at night, and he defecated, Ajallakumullah, and then he left. This is an Arab that did that. So he's the one that caused the war. So when Najashi, when Abraha heard about this, he said, okay, then I'm going to destroy the sacred house of these people that did this. And then the story continues when he went, and then Abu Righal is well known also. The Arabs used to stone his grave because Abu Righal was among the Arabs, and he showed Abraha the way to the Kaaba. So basically, even though he was buried, the Arabs, when they passed by his grave, they stone his grave. Why? Because he's a traitor. So subhanAllah, traitors, they are hated throughout history. So this is Abu Righal. So these are names you may hear in the Sirah, and it's something. Okay, go ahead, brother. Yes.
Yeah, so you started your talk. You mentioned about jihad.
Yes.
That you mentioned in the Quran also, the people who do jihad, who strive with their time, money, and so what is the order now? Like we all 2 million Muslim in Canada and more than that in America. So what is the hukum of Allah right now?
Okay.
What are we supposed? Palestine is under jihad, Syria. So what about us?
Okay. Well, the the group of Muslim scholars have given a fatwa last year that jihad in Palestine is mandatory. Now, again, I'm sorry for a lot of my teachers, my shuyukh are from Saudi Arabia, but the good ones are already in jail. The ones that are not in jail and they're good, they don't talk about politics. The politics you hear, the shuyukh of Saudi Arabia that are there, they tell you no jihad in Palestine. But Muslim scholars, okay, because those are anyway, their allegiance to America when it comes to politics, okay. So the Muslim scholars gave fatwa that jihad in Palestine is mandatory, fard ayn on everyone. Why? Because when a kafir enemy invades a country, then it's mandatory on the people of that country to fight off that invading kafir force. If that country its people are not able to push back that kafir invader, then the countries around it become mandatory on them, and so on and so forth until it becomes mandatory on the ummah. Therefore, as I said, most of us Muslims would just love dunya. Okay, none of us is going to go to jihad and fight for the sake of Allah or reach martyrdom, because many of us we have that in the religion. Now, living in Canada, some of the things we can do is if there are protests in support of the Palestinian people, okay, our men should join it. Why? Because we should show numbers. We should pressure the government into doing what's right. That's why in Canada they passed a law that prohibits the sale of weapons to Israel. Okay, as you see in the U.S., people are doing protests in universities, and recently all that lie of freedom of speech, First Amendment, basically was shown to just be a big lie, because they arrested one of the leaders of that protest, the Algerian Palestinian guy named Khalil, right? So here in Canada, this is what you do, okay? Now, if a person is able to join jihad, in Palestine, I would think it's difficult, if not impossible, because even food can't get in there. So you're just going to go there and add some more burden to them. It's difficult for you. As far as waging jihad inside Palestine now, the people that are there are enough. But there are other countries, support countries, like Yemen. Lebanon now, it's on hold because they almost destroyed Hezbollah, right? So if you are able to go to one of these countries and fight for the sake of Allah, then you should do it. Yemen is the only one that's open now. Syria, I don't think there is jihad in Syria. Syria, actually now, I just read yesterday, again, the Jews have gone even further into Syria. The Jews are taking over Syria step by step, and they were not able to do this when the Kafir Bashar al-Assad was there, because Bashar al-Assad was from the eastern camp of Russia, Iran, Hezbollah, and this is why, in my opinion, and it's clear, they made a deal with al-Julani, who had millions of dollars on his head because he was so-called a terrorist. All of a sudden he became a president, and basically that plot was coming from Erdogan, etc., because Erdogan has something against the Kurds, etc. So Syria, I don't think it's jihad. Now, Syria, what's going to happen at best is that they're going to start killing each other, like what's happening now. Okay, like one of the politicians, actually, was an ambassador that used to be with the previous regime, joined the current regime, and 2 people came into his house yesterday and killed him. Okay, and also you hear about a lot of people that are being killed. So at best, Syria now is just going to be fitna, more fitna. Prophet said the fitna in Syria is going to go all the way up to 18 years. So starting 2011, that's still time. So I don't say that there's no jihad in Syria. Another place is Afghanistan. Afghanistan, a person can also go there and establish readiness for the coming jihad. There's another jihad coming in the ahadith, and it's going to come from Khorasan. So, we can't say there is no such thing as jihad, right? But it's very limited where you can do that today.
Khorasan is which area?
Well, Khorasan, it includes also Iran, but then when you look at what's happening today, it's most likely Afghanistan. Afghanistan is the only emirate that rules according to Allah's law, right? Because they were the only ones that were able to push away the Americans by force. Because if you don't push the kuffar by force, you're not going to be able to use Allah's law to rule. Look at the Muslim countries. They're still under indirect occupation, right? Because before France, Germany, Italy, who else? Britain left. Basically, they put puppet governments there, told them to rule with other than Allah's law, and basically do what the kuffar were not able to do. See, because when the kuffar were invading Muslim countries, they could not convince most people to disobey Allah the way Muslims are disobey Allah today. So they put some puppets, some faces with Muslim names, with everything, and then they spread this corruption in the land. So the things that the kuffar were not able to do by force in Muslim land about 80 years ago, now it's being done through some rulers that rule the Muslims indirectly in the name of the kuffar.
What about Pakistan? Same situation. Pakistan puppets are there, or?
Of course. I mean, just look at Imran Khan, right? He just wanted to do what's good for Pakistan and go towards Russia, and then they took him out, right? Then it's always corruption. They always bring them something to accuse them of something and put them in jail. So yeah, I mean, any country that does not rule according to Allah's law is a puppet government.
What are your views about Malaysia, Indonesia? Okay, they are doing okay compared to other countries.
To be honest, I don't have a lot of knowledge about them. Are they ruling with the Sharia? I think they're only ruling for the Muslims. Something, they're. So look, even evil. Look, you have to. Even evil has various degrees. Goodness has various degrees, and evil has various degrees. So some countries are better than others. Right? So when it comes to disobedience for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and how close they are to the Sharia, they're different from country to country, right? I mean, before Saudi Arabia, subhanAllah, was always the dream for Muslims to be there. We used to go to Umrah, subhanAllah, you feel so pleased that, only Muslims in Mecca and Medina, there is no tabarruj, there is no... But then the past few years, I go there, I see a girl making tawaf with jeans. And then if I talk to her, and I talk to her, it's not I didn't talk to her, right? She's coming from the West. But then again, I mean, before there was Lajnat al-Ma'ruf wa Nahy al-Munkar. Okay, there was who are in charge of ordering good, forbidding evil. And actually in Medina, I went to a shopping mall, and I was standing there to buy some chicken, and there was some girl that came, speaks English, and she was speaking to the guy working there, and he was speaking to her English comfortably, seeing that I have a beard. He said, this guy is an Arab, he doesn't know English, and I understood the conversation. And then she gave him her number. So I went upstairs and I talked to the cop, and I said, this is what happened. He said, go Lajnat al-Ma'ruf wa Nahy al-Munkar. So I walked all the way to them, and I gave them the information and let them do their job. This is in Medina. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you come all the way there to commit zina, right? So it's mandatory for you to say this. But now you can't. Actually, in Mecca, I was in a Starbucks just across from the Haram, and then I see a girl standing with no hijab. And I go to her and I say, sister, you are in the land of Haramain. You may be coming from a country that this is allowed. I said, where are you from? She's done from Riyadh. I said, subhanAllah, the land of Salih al-Fawzan. This girl wanted to send me to jail. She would tell them, muwatana in trouble. This guy is telling me. So, Saudi Arabia, subhanAllah, changed, but qadarullah. This is qadarullah, right? Any other questions?
When it comes to cursing the disbelievers,
When it
when it comes to cursing the disbelievers during the month of Ramadan, I saw...
It comes to cursing?
Cursing the disbelievers during the month of Ramadan.
Cursing them? Why would you curse them?
Because I saw someone, I don't know if this was from I'm pretty sure this was from the earlier generations, like the past scholars, which they used to say that the people could not be seen, but they were like cursing the disbelievers basically. Like they increased their cursing during Ramadan. They used to curse the disbelievers. And someone was talking about how it's like a praiseworthy act.
Really? Share that with me. I'm not aware of that. Because if it is, then you have. Yes, go ahead. Yeah, you can change qadar with dua, and the fact that qadar changed is also from the qadar. In other words, we explained this in the lesson of the qadar. There is the set qadar that does not change, and that's in the lawh al-mahfud. That's in the preserved tablets. And then there's qadar, temporary qadar, that's given to the angels. For example, this person, he committed some sins, these bad things are going to happen to him. So this person repents to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and starts making dua. This is an example. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reveals to the angels, okay, remove that. That's not going to happen to him. Okay? But the end result, that the fact that accident did not happen to him, that's what's written in the preserved tablet. Okay? So dua, yarudul qadr in this sense. Then yes, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us to do deeds, and there are results for our deeds. So we're just sleeping all day long, no reward. But then if you're making dua, there's reward. Al-hasanat tamhu sayyat, and rewards, they erase the sins. So when making dua, basically your dua, either Allah answers your dua, or it is preserved for you for the hereafter, or Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala pushes away some harm from your way because of this dua. Okay, so ahadith, they explain one another. Any other questions about this? Going once, going twice, going twice. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك اشهد ان لا اله الا انت استغفرك